Never did I foresee that my existence would culminate in such a heart-wrenching moment. My name is Olivia, and at 38, I find myself entwined in a life that seems perfect on the surface. My husband, Daniel, is a successful businessman, yet beneath the facade lies a tumultuous sea of unspoken desires and heart-wrenching choices. He is consumed by his responsibilities, his days swallowed by endless business trips and meetings, tethered to the glow of his phone and computer screen. I have always stood by my husband's side, fully aware of the weight of the burdens he carries. Yet, with each departure he makes, or every moment he dedicates to his work, an overwhelming wave of longing and solitude washes over me. Ryan, a close family friend, has grown into a young man of 20, carrying the weight of his own journey. Ryan yearns to break free from the chains that bind him, his spirit restless and longing for the open skies. After 2 years of college, Ryan made the heart-wrenching decision to leave his studies behind and enter the workforce, despite the fact that my family could easily support him. He secured a position at a grocery store close to our home, pouring his heart into the work, and often returning at noon, weary yet hopeful, seeking solace in the quiet of our shared space. Ensure you subscribe to my channel, allowing me to share more captivating tales that tug at the heartstrings, just like this one. And be sure to stay with this video until the very end, for this tale unfolds with a depth that will tug at your heartstrings. This summer burned with an intensity that mirrored the turmoil of unspoken desires. The warmth enveloped the space, creeping through every fissure in the door, saturating the home with an undeniable intensity. On a seemingly ordinary morning, Daniel departed for work, his mind consumed by the weight of his responsibilities. Silence enveloped the house as he shut the door with a resolute finality. And I sensed the weight of the silence, as if I were the only soul lingering in the endless void. Ryan continued to toil through the morning hours at the store, his heart heavy as he made his way home each day at noon, burdened by unspoken desires and the weight of unfulfilled dreams. The sun hung fiercely in the sky, casting a relentless heat that enveloped the yard in a shimmering haze, stirring emotions that lingered just beneath the surface. I lingered by the window, my heart heavy as I gazed into the distance, when the familiar sound of footsteps broke the silence, heralding Ryan's arrival. The door creaked open and he stepped inside, beads of sweat cascading down his forehead, his t-shirt clinging desperately to his form. "Mom, the heat is unbearable today," Ryan murmured, setting the bag of snacks down on the kitchen table with a heavy heart. I smiled, observing my eldest son blossom with each passing day, my heart overwhelmed by a torrent of unspoken feelings. Ryan approached the refrigerator, his heart heavy with unspoken words, retrieved a bottle of cold water and sank into the creaking old wooden chair, the weight of his thoughts pressing down on him. The atmosphere settled into a heavy stillness, punctuated only by the rhythmic whir of the ceiling fan and the soft, sorrowful drip of water cascading from the chilled bottle, each drop echoing the weight of unspoken emotions in the air. We lingered in the heavy air, lost in our own turbulent reflections, the oppressive summer heat amplifying the unspoken tension between us. The oppressive heat weighed heavily on my heart that afternoon, driving me to seek solace in the cool embrace of the shower, hoping to wash away the turmoil within. As I drew near to the bathroom, the haunting melody of running water filled the air, echoing the turmoil within my heart. I took a few more steps, my heart racing as I noticed the bathroom door slightly open, a sliver of light spilling through the narrow gap, beckoning me into the unknown. Before my eyes stood Ryan, drenched in the cascading water, utterly exposed. Despite the bond we shared, this moment sent a rush through me. My heart raced, threatening to escape the confines of my chest. Paralyzed by uncertainty, I remained motionless, caught in a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. Ryan remained lost in the cascading water, oblivious to my presence, as I stood there, a silent observer of his intimate solitude. The intense warmth coursing through me was not solely due to the sweltering heat. It felt as though an unexplainable force was surging within, overwhelming my heart with a tumult of emotions. In that moment, words eluded me, and all I felt was a whirlwind of confusion and shame, urging me to flee before the truth could be unveiled. As I hesitated for just a moment, my foot brushed against the mop, sending it crashing to the ground with a heart stopping clatter that echoed the turmoil within me. The unexpected noise sent a wave of dread coursing through me. My heart constricted painfully as I hurried back to the living room, desperately wishing that Ryan remained oblivious to my arrival. As I sank into the chair, my heart raced uncontrollably, breaths coming in quick gasps, and my body quaked as if I had narrowly evaded a perilous fate. The clatter of the mop hitting the floor reverberated in my mind, stirring a deep seated fear that Ryan might recall or sense something out of the ordinary. Yet, an unsettling silence enveloped the house. The silence from the bathroom was deafening, a haunting stillness that hinted at the turmoil within. I struggled to find peace within, yet the chaos in my heart refused to fade away. My feelings for you run deeper than the bond of family. They are the kind that ignites passion and longing, a haunting reminder of what could never be. In that fleeting instant, a buried longing stirred within me, a feeling I had desperately sought to suppress for far too long. The weight of shame and guilt intertwined within me, leaving me in a state of turmoil and deep concern. I rose to my feet and began to wander the living room, desperately attempting to banish the vision from my thoughts. Yet it clung to me, a relentless specter that stirred a deep unease within my heart. The silence that followed the water's retreat was heavy, and moments later, Ryan emerged, a shadow of unspoken emotions lingering in the air. Ryan stood there looking exhausted from the day, as the weight of his emotions showed in his expression. I stole a fleeting glance at him, then turned away with intention, evading Ryan's gaze, yet the turmoil within my heart was impossible to conceal. Ryan's gaze lingered on me, a fleeting smile gracing his lips, hinting at unspoken feelings that hung heavily in the air. Mother, did you sense a whisper in the air? I believe something has just tumbled down. I struggled to maintain a steady tone, despite the tremor that betrayed my inner turmoil. Ah, Mother, let go of the mop. It's all right. After uttering those words, I could sense the tremor of unspoken feelings resonating within me. In a moment heavy with unspoken words, I averted my gaze, desperate to conceal the turmoil brewing within me. Ryan simply shrugged, his silence echoing the weight of our unfulfilled desires, before retreating to his room, the door clicking shut with a finality that left my heart aching. The house once more succumbed to an oppressive quiet, yet my thoughts remained in turmoil, the warmth coursing through me, intensified by the sweltering summer air, intertwined with the lingering memory of Ryan, leaving me ensnared in a tumultuous whirlwind of emotions that defied reason. I sank into the chair, my hands cradling my head as I fought against the haunting visions that refused to fade away. Lena, what are you risking? I found myself consumed by guilt, my heart heavy with dread and regret. Despite my efforts to soothe my troubled mind, everything changed the moment my gaze met Ryan's. A spark ignited within me that I could no longer ignore. I found myself lost in a whirlwind of tumultuous feelings, unable to comprehend the reasons behind it all, and even more helpless in my quest to break free from this emotional turmoil. As dawn broke, the relentless passage of time continued, echoing the unchanging cadence of their hearts. Daniel, as always, rushed through his breakfast, his gaze fixated on the glowing screen of his phone, anxiously scanning each email and message that flickered before him. I meticulously arranged the table for breakfast, striving to maintain a composed expression, even as a wave of sorrow surged within me at the news of his impending week-long business trip. Though I had grown accustomed to Daniel's relentless pace of life, each time he declared his imminent departure, my heart would plummet, an overwhelming sense of void enveloping me like an encroaching shadow. "Don't worry, I'll handle everything at home after this trip," Daniel said, his voice tinged with urgency as he forced a smile, rising from his seat and stepping out of the house, leaving an air of unspoken tension behind. The door clicked shut, and an unsettling stillness enveloped the room, thick with unspoken words and lingering emotions. Ryan sat across from me, his fingers delicately swirling the coffee in front of him, his gaze heavy with unspoken thoughts and a weariness that tugged at my heart. As Daniel disappeared from view, Ryan lifted his gaze, his eyes pleading for understanding in the midst of his heartache. "Mom, I finally have a week away from the shop. What do you say we escape somewhere together? It feels like an eternity since we last shared a moment as a family." Lost in the shadows of unspoken feelings and lingering glances, I offered a bittersweet smile, shaking my head as a flicker of remorse danced in my gaze. "Your father is consumed by his work, away on a business trip that stretches endlessly for an entire week this time." I couldn't shake the feeling that there was a deep sorrow hidden within Ryan's gaze, his lips pressed together as if he were fighting against an overwhelming tide of emotion. He remained silent, a subtle nod the only acknowledgement of the weight between them. Rising slowly, he moved to clear the dishes, the air thick with unspoken words and lingering emotions. I could sense Ryan's deep yearning for a genuine family getaway, free from the shadows of work and the ache of separation. After breakfast, the house felt heavy with the weight of unspoken words, leaving just the two of us in a world filled with longing and unfulfilled desires. I found myself lost in the depths of time, reflecting on how long it had been since I truly immersed myself in Ryan's world, absorbing his innermost thoughts, feelings, and dreams. Life had ensnared us in relentless routines, preventing us from pausing to truly gaze into one another's souls. We lingered in the living room, the cool breeze from outside whispering through the half-open window, carrying with it a fleeting sense of freedom. Soft sunlight seeped through the curtains, creating a bittersweet glow that danced on the carpet beneath, hinting at the unspoken emotions lingering in the air. "Mom, there's so much I need to share with you," Ryan said, his voice resonating with a newfound depth and maturity that hinted at the weight of his unspoken feelings. "Whatever it may be, please share it with me. I'm here, ready to hear your heart's whispers." I smiled, my eyes softening as I gazed at him, urging him forward with unspoken hope. He started to share tales of ordinary existence, the hustle of the shop, quirky patrons, and unforeseen moments that brought a smile to his face. Yet beneath the surface, a deeper longing simmered, hinting at the complexities of his heart. I listened with bated breath, sensing that I had unearthed a fragment of the bond that had slowly slipped away through the passage of time. Ryan's eyes sparkled with a bittersweet joy as he reminisced about moments that tugged at my heart, leaving me with a haunting warmth that felt both beautiful and painful. Time slipped away, and I found myself lost in the depths of our conversation, as if the chasm that once separated us had vanished in this fleeting, blissful instant. I playfully remarked, "You're so imposing. Have you ever considered the possibility of a deep connection with someone special?" "Mom, I can't help but notice the way the girls in the neighborhood gaze at me whenever I walk by." Ryan's laughter echoed through the air, a bittersweet melody that masked the turmoil within his heart. "Mother, we need to discuss this with great care. I still want to prioritize my work," he said, his voice carrying a blend of lightheartedness and earnestness. We lingered in our conversation, reminiscing about cherished moments from the past, the days when the family gathered for picnics while Ryan was still a child, or the times he misbehaved and faced the consequences from Daniel and me. Then the whole family erupted in laughter, the atmosphere thick with bittersweet memories, as if the shadows of the past had momentarily lifted, allowing a glimpse of those fleeting, joyful moments once more. As the hours slipped away, the noon sunlight poured through the window, casting a golden glow that filled the room, with an intensity that felt almost overwhelming. My heart soared as though the unseen chasm separating Ryan and me had been bridged by an overwhelming tide of affection and empathy. A heavy stillness lingered in the air as the clock inched closer to the hour of noon. The air thickened with unspoken words as mother and son drifted into a profound silence, lost in the depths of their own heartache. Yet, the air that surrounded us had shifted, enveloping us in a warmth that felt both intimate and serene, drawing us nearer than we had ever been. In that moment, Ryan's gaze pierced through me, and he posed a question that rendered me utterly silent, lost in the turmoil of my thoughts, unsure of how to respond. Mother, did you witness my moment of vulnerability yesterday? My heart raced, and a deep flush spread across my cheeks as that question hung in the air, heavy with unspoken longing. My throat felt parched, rendering me speechless. Ryan's gaze pierced through me, a blend of yearning and unspoken questions swirling in his eyes, urging me to respond while leaving little room for hesitation. In truth, I sensed your gaze upon me yesterday, yet I chose to feign ignorance, lost in the tangled web of our unspoken connection. As those words hung in the air, my heart tightened painfully, caught in a whirlwind of shame and dread. Turmoil consumed my thoughts, each one more tumultuous than the last. Ryan was painfully aware, yet he chose to remain silent until this moment. I attempted to voice my feelings, yet each word felt trapped, suffocating in the depths of my being. As our gazes locked, an unexplainable tension surged between us, igniting a spark that felt both exhilarating and perilous. Just as I was about to reveal my heart, Ryan's voice pierced through the heavy silence, shattering the moment with unexpected urgency. Olivia, I admire and care about you more than I can say. Ryan's voice carried a softness that belied the intensity of his words. My feelings for you run deeper than the bond of family. They are the kind that ignites passion and longing, as if we were destined to be more than just mother and son. Ryan's unexpected revelation left me breathless. My heart is a tempest of emotions, a swirl of surprise, worry, and an unnamed longing that pulls at my very soul. For a fleeting instant, time stood still, and my heart ceased its rhythm. His gaze was unwavering, filled with an intensity that spoke of unspoken desires and hidden truths. Those eyes held a depth of intensity, intertwined with a flicker of longing that seemed almost unattainable. I stood in silence, grappling with the weight of the truth that had just shattered my world. My heart ached, and I struggled to articulate the turmoil within as Ryan's words echoed hauntingly in my mind. Mom, you inquired if I desired a girlfriend, yet deep within my soul, it was only you that I longed for. A wave of anguish washed over me, my heart racing with an intensity I couldn't ignore. It had been ages since I felt this overwhelming emotion. In that moment, I felt a whirlwind of emotions, grappling with the weight of unspoken feelings. Yet all I encountered was an overwhelming silence that deepened my turmoil. Ryan lingered nearby, his gaze filled with concern and warmth, as if he could sense the storm brewing within me. My heart throbbed with the weight of regretful inquiries. How could these intense feelings arise within me after such a long time of solitude? Was it my fate to experience vulnerability and the fleeting essence of youth once more? Do you truly mean that? I asked, my voice shaking with uncertainty and hesitation. Yet Ryan remained silent. In that moment, he grasped my hand, defying the world around us. As tender as a secret longing hidden beneath the surface. The warmth in Ryan's gaze enveloped me, causing all my worries to fade into oblivion. Ryan gave me a reassuring hug, his warmth a reminder of the deep bond we had formed over the years. His arms encircled me with an intensity that seemed to shield me from the weight of my fears. The rhythm of his heartbeat echoed within me, a haunting melody that filled the air with an intoxicating warmth. wrapping around my senses like a bittersweet embrace. All I desire is you. The hushed words lingered in the air, wrapping around me like a delicate shroud, heavy with unspoken longing. Ryan's lips hovered tantalizingly near. My heart twisted and turned within me, caught in a whirlwind of emotions. In that moment, I realized that no words could convey the depth of my emotions, quite like the warmth of Ryan's embrace. From that moment on, Ryan and I shared an unbreakable bond that carried an unspoken weight. We struggled with emotions that felt overwhelming, yet we knew we had to tread carefully. From that moment forward, an unspoken bond entwined our fates, a secret and perilous connection. Whenever Daniel departed, the once tranquil home transformed into a realm of simmering emotions and unspoken tensions. Ryan's intense stare pierced through the air, stirring a whirlwind of doubt within me. Yet I found myself helplessly drawn to that unexplainable pull between us. The rush of the door shutting, the echo of every careful step, and the desperate embrace made it seem as if we were terrified of being discovered by the outside world. In the depths of our hearts, we understood that this connection was destined for sorrow, a path that could only bring heartache. Yet, in defiance of all logic, we found ourselves embracing each other, irresistibly pulled together like moths captivated by a dangerous flame. In those secretive moments, I was oblivious to the repercussions or the judgments that loomed over us. All I understood was that, for Ryan, the allure of the forbidden grew stronger with each passing moment. Yet, every hidden truth must eventually come to light. And deep within my heart, I sense that one fateful day, the truth will emerge, shattering the fragile world we cling to so desperately. Ryan and I navigate our existence in a relentless struggle between our deepest feelings and the harsh realities that bind us. Each time our gazes meet, a wave of shame and unspoken longing washes over us, lingering in the air like a haunting melody. The fleeting moments of our accidental touches haunt me relentlessly, stirring a tempest of emotions within. This inner turmoil consumes my thoughts daily. Yet I find myself unable to resist the pull of what we share. We find ourselves entwined in fleeting instances that defy reason, moments brimming with passion yet shadowed by remorse. One fateful afternoon, Daniel returned home sooner than anyone could have anticipated. The sudden halt of the car in the yard and the unmistakable click of the key in the lock sent a shiver through me, a wave of dread washing over my heart. Ryan and I finally pulled away from each other, our gazes filled with a mix of confusion and unease. Daniel stepped inside, weariness etched on his features, yet his gaze was filled with longing and desperation. His gaze lingered on Ryan and me, a flicker of doubt in his eyes, yet he chose to remain silent. The air in the room was thick with unspoken words, a fragile tension hanging like a delicate thread ready to snap. I realized that this couldn't continue forever. The air was heavy with confusion, a reminder of the importance of setting clear boundaries. I was confronted with the painful truth that I had to bring this tumultuous connection to a close before it spiraled into something beyond repair. One fateful evening, I beckoned Ryan to join me on the porch, the air thick with unspoken words and lingering glances. The soft glow illuminated his features, revealing a depth of feeling in his gaze. "We cannot continue down this path, Ryan," I murmured, my voice trembling with emotion. "My affection for you runs deep, a bond that feels both natural and profound, yet it carries the weight of unspoken truths and unfulfilled desires. Any other choice would only lead to heartache." Ryan's voice faded into the stillness, his gaze fixed on the ground, a profound sorrow etched upon his features. At last he acquiesced, his posture collapsing under the weight of unspoken sorrow, as if a long-held secret had finally been released. Our relationship faded into silence, yet the ache lingered in the depths of our souls. Daniel remained lost in a haze of confusion, grappling with the weight of unspoken truths that lingered in the air. I chose to immerse myself in the warmth of my family, seeking to mend the fractures within my soul and restore the bonds that had once been so strong. Ryan ventured away from home, seeking solace and the chance to redefine his existence. I came to understand that the depths of solitude and the desperate yearning for love can lead individuals down a path of misguided choices. The most profound realization I encountered was the importance of genuine emotion and the bravery it takes to confront one's true desires. To safeguard what truly matters, one must release the burdens that should never have been embraced. The conclusion evokes a sense of longing and introspection, yet it also marks the dawn of recovery as one learns to let go. In the wake of everything I have endured, I feel compelled to share my thoughts with those who might be grappling with their own heart-wrenching struggles or feelings. What I discovered is the importance of understanding oneself and embracing the solitude that comes with it. There was a time when I found myself ensnared in a profound solitude, a haunting void that echoed with unfulfilled desires. In the depths of my heart, I understood that seeking solace in fleeting moments would only lead to more pain. I had to confront the turmoil within, to delve into the reasons behind my feelings, and to confront the shadows that haunted me. Uphold your limits and cherish your own value. In the midst of overwhelming feelings, I came to understand that preserving boundaries in connections is crucial, a lesson learned through heart-wrenching experiences. Holding on to your self-worth and valuing those around you can shield you from choices that might haunt your heart in the future. Understanding and intimacy are essential. When the shadows of solitude creep into your heart, dare to reach out and share your feelings. In moments when hearts are heavy with unspoken words, a sincere conversation can unravel the tangled threads of misunderstanding, forging a fragile yet profound connection that dances on the edge of what is deemed acceptable. Embrace the pain and allow it to shape you into someone stronger. I stumbled along the way, and the most painful truth is confronting the weight of my sorrow. Yet, I came to understand that punishing oneself only deepens the pain. Embracing the journey of self-forgiveness is the crucial beginning to mending the heart and finding a way to rise again. Hold dear the connections that truly resonate within your heart. In the end, I discovered that the deepest treasures lie in the bonds we forge with those who genuinely hold us dear, even when the world conspires against such unions. Do not allow transient feelings to lead you astray. In the midst of turmoil and inner conflict, pause to confront your deepest emotions. Allow yourself to delve into the shadows of your heart and make the choice that resonates with your true desires. I have come to understand that true resilience lies not just in unwavering resolve, but in the wisdom to recognize when to let go.